皆さんこんばんは。お元気ですか? Today is Thursday, March 26th. I hope you are well. I'm here today with my friend Ryoma, and we're going to do a few announcements. And then I'm going to read to you from a book called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Alright, so here's some announcements for Thursday, March 26th, day whatever you want. Grab-and-go meals are still being offered Monday through Friday, 11 to 11:20 at Jensen Elementary, at Karen Acres from 11:30 to 11:50, and Valerius from 12 to 12:30. Those are grab-and-go meals for anyone 18 and under. Also, the Urbandale Food Pantry is open on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 to 1 p.m. and 2 to 5 p.m. You'll find that Urbandale Food Pantry at 7611 Douglas Avenue. That won't be open tomorrow, but it will be open on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so keep that in mind if you're needing some food. That's, again, at 7611 Douglas Avenue, Suite 35 and 34. The phone number there is 515-251-6688. You can also email them at info@urbandalefoodpantry.org. They have food and personal items there, so look into that if you need to. A few announcements from our counselors. FAFSA and other college information, you can contact ICANN to schedule a virtual appointment at 877-272-4692. Starting Wednesday, March 25th, ICANN will go live at least once per day on Facebook and Twitter to discuss important planning topics and answer questions from students and families. You can follow their Facebook page at iCanSucceed. Follow them on Twitter at iCanSucceed, or visit the website at iCanSucceed.org for more information. The April 4th ACT has been canceled. If you were signed up to test in April, ACT will be in contact with you about reassigning your testing time to June or July. If you have any questions, check www.act.org or call 319-337-1270. If you need a transcript, please contact your counselor or Ms. Gibson if you need transcripts or test scores for scholarships or college admissions. Dollars for Scholars applications are currently due by April 1st. That's coming up. To apply, go to their website at www.urbandale.dollarsforscholars.org. And then there's a lot after that to start your profile and complete your application. I think you can find a link there on the urbandaleschools.com website. Also, for the senior bulletin, visit www.uhsguidance.com for scholarship information. AP exams, some information on that. For the 2019-20 exam administration only, students can take a 45-minute online exam at home. Educator-led development committees are currently selecting the exam questions that will be administered. Visit apstudents.collegeboard.org/coronavirus-updates for more information about testing and resources that are available. Please know that the Student Assistance Program is available 24/7, 365 via phone support. Zoom or phone assessment, referral, and brief counseling sessions are also available. If you need someone to talk to during this time, please call 515-244-6090 to access services. Reminder, students may only use the LMC during lunchtime when they have a pass from the LMC or have an open period. Students, you'll be required to show your pass if asked by library staff. Also, any student entering the building after 8 needs to show their school ID. Be sure to have those out and ready to go to the door. Have a great day, UHS. Okay, so next I'm going to be reading to you from The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon. I don't know if you've ever seen any of this person's products, but the author's name is Kondo Mari in Japanese, Marie Kondo. Anyway, she has I think it's a Netflix show, which is about tidying up, and it's pretty interesting. This book was a huge bestseller. I think she's still pretty popular, has a pretty large following. Some people are kind of like, oh, she's a neat freak, but it has some really good and interesting lessons about cleaning up your life and not becoming a hoarder. It's pretty interesting stuff. If you ever watched the show, it's good. This book has some lessons in it that I think could apply to many things in your life. I'm going to read a couple sections to you and then we'll talk about it. Tidying a little a day and you'll be tidying forever. If you tidy your house all at once, you'll rebound. It's better to make it a habit to do a little at a time. Although this advice sounds very tempting, we've already seen that the first part is wrong. How about the suggestion that we should do only a little a day? Although it sounds convincing, don't be fooled. The reason you never seem to finish is precisely because you tidy a little at a time. Changing lifestyle habits acquired over a span of many years is generally extremely difficult. If you have never succeeded in staying tidy to date, you will find it next to impossible to develop the habit of tidying a little at a time. People cannot change their habits without first changing their way of thinking. And that's not easy. After all, it's quite hard to control what we think. There is, however, one way to drastically transform the way we think about tidying. The subject of tidying first caught my attention when I was in junior high school. The catalyst was a book called The Art of Discarding by Nagisa Tatsumi, which explained the importance of getting rid of unnecessary things. I picked the book up on my way home from school, intrigued to see a topic I had never encountered before, and I can still remember the shock of surprise I felt as I read it on the train. I became so absorbed that I almost missed my stop. Once home, I went straight to my room with a handful of garbage bags and stayed closeted for several hours. Although my room was small, by the time I finished, I had 8 bags full of stuff. Clothes I never wore, textbooks from elementary school, toys I had not played with in years, my eraser and seal collection. I had forgotten that most of these things even existed. I sat motionless on the floor for about an hour afterwards, staring at the pile of bags and wondering why on earth did I bother keeping all this stuff. What shocked me most, however, was how different my room looked. After only a few hours, I could see parts of the floor that had never been revealed before. My room seemed to have been transformed, and the air inside seemed so much fresher and brighter than even my mind felt clearer. Tidying, I realized, could have far more impact than I had ever imagined. Thunderstruck by the extent of the change, from that day on I turned my attention from cooking and sewing, which I had thought were the essentials of a well-kept home, to the art of tidying. Tidying brings visible results. Tidying never lies. The ultimate secret of success is this: if you tidy up in one shot, rather than little by little, you can dramatically change your mindset. A change so profound that it touches your emotions will irresistibly affect your way of thinking and your lifestyle habits. My clients do not develop the habit of tidying gradually. Every one of them has been clutter-free since they undertook their tidying marathon. This approach is the key to preventing rebound. When people revert to clutter, no matter how much they tidy, it is not their room or their belongings, but their way of thinking that is at fault. Even if they are initially inspired, they can't stay motivated and their efforts peter out. The root cause lies in the fact that they can't see the results or feel the effects. This is precisely why success depends on experiencing tangible results immediately. If you use the right method and concentrate your efforts on eliminating clutter thoroughly and completely within a short span of time, you'll see instant results that will empower you to keep your space in order ever after. Anyone who experiences this process, no matter who they are, will vow never to revert to clutter again. Why you should aim for perfection. Don't aim for perfection. Start off slowly and discard just one item a day. What lovely words to ease the hearts of those who lack confidence in their ability to tidy. I came across this advice while I was devouring every book about tidying that had ever been published in Japan, and I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. The momentum sparked by my epiphany concerning the power of tidying up was beginning to wear off, and I was starting to feel jaded by the lack of solid results. These words seem to make sense. It seems daunting to aim for perfection from the beginning. Besides, perfection is supposedly unattainable. By discarding one thing a day, I could get rid of 365 things by the end of the year. Convinced that I had discovered a very practical method, I immediately followed the book's instructions. I opened my closet in the morning wondering what to dispose of that day. Seeing a t-shirt that I no longer wore, I put it in the garbage bag. Before going to bed the next night, I opened my desk drawer and discovered a notebook that seemed too childish for me. I put it in the bag. Noticing a memo pad in the same drawer, I thought to myself, oh, I don't need that anymore. But as I reached out to pick it up, I paused at a new thought. I can save that to discard tomorrow. And I waited until the next morning to throw it away. The day after that, I forgot completely, so I got rid of 2 items on the following day. To be honest, I did not last 2 weeks. I'm not the type of person who likes to plug away at something one step at a time. For people like me, who do their assignments on the very last night before the deadline, this approach just doesn't work. Besides, casting off 1 object a day did not compensate for the fact that when I shop, I buy several items at once. In the end, the pace at which I reduced could not keep up with the pace at which I acquired new things, and I was confronted with the discouraging fact that my space, was still cluttered. It wasn't long before I had completely forgotten to follow the rule of discarding 1 item a day. So I can tell you from experience that you will never get your house in order if you only clean up half-heartedly. If, like me, you are not the diligent, persevering type, then I recommend aiming for perfection just once. Many people may protest when I use the word perfection, insisting that it's an impossible goal. But don't worry. Tidying in the end is just a physical act. The work involved can be broadly divided into 2 kinds: deciding whether or not to dispose of something, and deciding where to put it. If you can do these 2 things, you can achieve perfection. Objects can be counted. All you need to do is look at each item one at a time and decide whether or not to keep it and where to put it. That's all you need to do to complete this job. It's not hard to tidy up perfectly and completely in one fell swoop. In fact, anyone can do it. And if you want to avoid rebound, this is the only way to do it. Alright, so it's really interesting that Kondo Mari says you have to look at your effort and maybe do something drastic, which is kind of interesting and different advice than you hear from most people. A little bit at a time seems to be the advice most people give. But sometimes, if you want drastic change, you have to do something a little bit drastic, and that's kind of what she's prescribing here. It's kind of go hard or go home. It's kind of all or nothing type of advice, which is interesting, and in a way it's kind of refreshing. Anyway, if you have by the way, if you haven't heard her advice, usually what she says to you is if you look at an object, if you're deciding whether or not to get rid of it, let's say, for example, I'm looking at Dioma here, and I'm deciding whether or not to keep him. I would look at this object and I would say, does it spark joy? And if it sparks joy, I would keep it. If it doesn't spark joy, I'd consider getting rid of it. And that's how she decides whether or not you're going to keep all the objects in your house, and it's a way to kind of eliminate clutter. You look at something, does it spark joy? Yes, okay, keep it. If not, let's get rid of it. Or that doesn't mean throw it away. Of course, you can repurpose it, or you could recycle it, or you could give it to Goodwill, but it's a way to declutter your home. Anyway, again, that's The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Kondo Mari Kondo. All right, have a good night.